angry customers, like what do you do? I know you do a ton of training with the people who are actually working in the locations. So if there's an angry customer, what are the strategies um, that you impart onto your employees about how to handle that?
The first is to recognize that they're angry for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and whether it has something to do with us, something that we did, something that's going on in their life, that day, whatever it is, they're angry for a reason, and it's not our job to determine if it's justified or not. It's
Mm-hmm.
not our job to kind of dissect it and say no, that doesn't make any sense. No, that you know we just need to understand that they're mad, they're angry, they're frustrated, whatever it is, and realize that for them is real.
Yep.
And from that point on, we need to remove any sort of defensiveness we have, and that first kind of reach out, that first contact, just apologizing. And it doesn't have to be apologizing for this specific pizza that we made wrong, or this specific beer. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It's just apologizing for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I would say 75% of the time, once you apologize, it's really hard for somebody to continue to stay mad. And you can say, hey,
Yeah, it seems like more than that to me, but like once you apologize, it's like the ice is broken.
yeah, it was higher than that prior to COVID. Since
Oh,
COVID, there are a lot more people that are a lot more angry, and they seem to be stuck in that a little bit more than they might have been before.
got
Um,
it.
so it's instantly apologizing, recognizing what they're going through, not being defensive, and then it's always saying, what can we do to make this right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, to give you an idea, pretty much every complaint, every issue, every problem kind of comes through the website and goes directly to my inbox. I read
Hmm.
each and every one of them as quickly as I possibly can, and I respond to almost all of them. And it's if not I should say, if not myself, then one of the other regionals that we have, or the GMs at the restaurant.
Right.
But it's always a group effort, and this is whether it's a $5 you know chips and salsa, or it's a $30 pizza. It makes no difference. I'll spend 10 hours trying to talk to somebody and trying to make it right. And we do the
Right.
same thing in a store. It's the immediate acknowledgement that they're frustrated, that they're mad, eliminating our defensiveness, apologizing, and seeing what we can do to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a pizza that was supposed to be a pepperoni but they only got a cheese, we'll offer to make them a new pizza. We'll see what we can do. Can we get you a new pizza? No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a new pizza. I how you did this. I don't understand why this happened. Well, I'm really sorry. I can't tell you specifically. I'd have to go back in there and check the ticket, exactly what happened. But I can tell you, no matter what, we did something wrong. We messed it up, and I can make you a new one. I can discount this for you. I can take it off your bill. Whatever it is. I just want to make you happy. And then I'll go back and I'll try and figure out exactly what happened, so we can coach our team and prevent it from happening again.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one of the things too. I always try and let people know that it's not just you having a messed up pizza, or having a bad experience, or having whatever it is. I will acknowledge that. I'm going to see what it is, and then I'm going to let you know that I'm going to figure it out and try and make it better, not just for
Mm-hmm.
you, but for everybody that comes through that door after you. Um,
So is that the person doing that on like in one of the locations? Is that does the manager come over and say,
mm.
do this? So it's like server brings the manager over. Is that like the actual mechanics of it?
It all depends. I mean, that can happen, but
Mm-hmm.
usually we like our managers to be, walking around, touching every table, having these visits with the guests, checking in, seeing how things are.
Right.
Uh, we don't want to be overbearing, but at
Yeah.
the same time, and you can always tell, especially if you've been in the industry for any length of time, you can tell when people want to have some sort of interaction, or when they just want to sit down and eat their pizza and drink their beer and
Mm-hmm.
pay the bill and leave. Um, so every kind of table touch is a little bit different, but hey, we want to make sure that it's good. We want amazing and they love it, and service is great. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable telling you if there are issues there in person. So that's when we'll hear about it, later
Got it.
on.
Interesting.
But yes, it can go straight to the manager when they do a table touch. It can go from a server or bartender to a manager, and then the manager comes out. Um, I mean, there are times where people will send us emails when they're in the restaurant, They
Oh,
haven't talked
wow.
to a server, they haven't talked to a manager, but they'll send us an email when they're in the restaurant. And at that point, I reach out to the teams, or we reach out and we try and figure out, okay, well, what's going on? Let's try and see what's happening, and make sure that we can correct it, and make them happy.
Yeah. I bet if you get them while they're still there, they are just, their socks get blown off by that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Does anyone ever reach out to you guys on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that about with this stuff, or is it mostly like emails to you, or the emails that you
Can
end up getting?
you say that you broke up there for just a second? Could you
Oh
say?
yeah, sorry. So people send you emails when they have problems, complaints. Do they send you Facebook messages? Do they tweet at you? Do they do like
Yep.
what are the ways that people get in touch with you? And how do you handle each one? Is there any difference, or is it just like I need to reply to every one of these in a timely manner? And that's just the rule for all channels.
Um, I'll be very honest. I think I think I can frustrate some people with the kind of tenacity that I have to responding to a guest complaint. Um, I generally like to respond within minutes, if possible. Um, I Obviously we can't promise that. You never know. If we're in a store in operations, you don't have your phone or your computer. I mean, you're not actively seeing those come in,
Right.
but they all get sent to my phone. They get sent to my email, computer, what have you. So I'm trying to remain as active as possible, um, and yeah, so I will reach out to the store fairly quickly after getting a review, something like that. Um, they they come to us easiest via the email. So from our website, people send us an email or a comment, but a lot of respond via Facebook, which is also ease of use is there, but it's a little bit different. The way Facebook is not easy to navigate if you've got multiple locations, and to see the notification coming in. I mean, I swear, half the time they don't even come through, and you don't even know you have
Yeah.
a comment or a message or something like that. So it's a little bit different. Um, Twitter, people do add us. I mean, if I think it's both have to be subscribed to one another to do like a DM, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we'll do. If somebody's adding us and they have a problem, we will request a follow so that we can you know
Right.
message them back and forth. Um, Instagram, I don't think we get a ton of comments and feedback like that, but we still do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it can kind of come from all angles, and we'll get people calling in. Um, so yeah, I mean, it kind of comes from anywhere and
It's from
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But the key,
And
like
then,
getting back to everybody is like paramount, right? Don't just let an email sit there for
yeah,
weeks. Yeah.
and there are some, and it's also can be hard to kind of discern because there are some that are spam that are very legitimate. It's not real, but people have gotten very very good at manipulating emails that look very genuine and very real, even though they're not. So
Interesting.
it's trying to filter those out. And
Yeah.
then at the same time, just kind of like what we talked about, the past 2.5 years has really changed the way people interact with one another. And it's really changed people's behavior like considerably. And so what we end up seeing is we have a lot of these complaints that come through that are honestly very difficult for us to kind of understand and comprehend. It just doesn't make sense. Like,
Can you have an example? Just so, because I'm
well,
not quite understanding.
um, so it would be a like an email comment that came through, and we had one a little while ago where a guest was in the restaurant, and we did table touches. Everything was fine. Everything was good. We had no understanding of any issue whatsoever. They then reach out to us. They comment, via the website, or I'm not sure where this one came in. It might have been Facebook too. But they,
Uh-huh.
they reach out and they say, hey, we had a problem. So we say, okay, well, I'm so sorry. We reach out, we talk to them, we say, okay, what was the problem? Oh, it was this. We had one pizza, we didn't like it. Okay, we can give you a refund. We can send you some certificates. What's best? What would you like? So okay, cool. And then 2, 3 days later, we get another email or comment, whatever from them, and saying, oh, well, we had this problem. And you're
Like
like,
a
well,
different problem than the
yeah,
first one?
but it's the same visit.
Right.
And then you say, okay, well, what can we do? We talked to you in the store. I talked to you. We've gone back and forth. I thought, I thought we understood everything, and yeah, but we also had this problem, so we would like to get, compensation for this. Okay. And depending on the situation, I mean, it all varies. It all depends. But there are just a lot of emails that come through that, or comments, that just don't make sense. And I think part of it too is confusion on social media and the internet. We've had people that respond, that reach out, even though it was not at one of our locations, didn't have anything
Oh,
to do with
right.
it.
Yeah.
We've had things where people call in and they say, hey, A, B, C, and D. This is time stamped. That's time stamped. I did this at this time, this at this time, and we go in and look at security cameras, look at our POS system, look at everything, and you're just like, I
You
want to
weren't
make you
here.
happy, but yeah, that didn't happen. Um, and so I don't know, and
Interesting.
it's weird because you have to be on guard. You have to that these things are out there. There are
Right.
a lot more scams and a lot more people trying to kind of get something that they might not have prior to COVID.
Like a
Um,
gift card, they're fishing for like,
yeah, and it's not uncommon for a guest to come in and say, "Oh, hey, I'm supposed to get a free pizza." You're like, "Okay, well, I mean, what happened? I'm sorry. Oh, I was here like 2 days ago, and the guy told me I'd get a free pizza." Like, okay, well, let me go check. Let me check with the manager. Let me check with the office. We have the compensation log. We have all these different things. Let's check. Well, there's nothing in there, and come out and say, yeah, but they told me I would. It, again, not discrediting it, not saying that that's not a thing, and not saying it didn't happen, but we're getting a lot more of those situations.
interesting. Huh.
Um, trying to kind of explain, trying to talk to people. And I just think the stress of the past 2.5 years has made things that much more difficult for people in understanding and relating to businesses that have been under a tremendous amount of stress.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no different with us.
Right.
I oftentimes try and be as empathetic and sympathetic as I can because I go to restaurants, other restaurants. I go to other bars. I see what's happening. I go there, and it's hard for me to understand how sometimes other people don't get it and don't
Mm.
understand. And they might not understand the specifics. I get it. Might not have ever worked in a restaurant, but at the same time, again, going back to our goal is simply to make people happy.
Yeah.
That might not be the goal of a lot of other places, and it can, I almost take it personally sometimes where, I really go out there and go above and beyond, and our managers do, and our servers do, and everybody does. Sometimes they don't see that, or they don't understand all the different variables that go into what we're doing.
Right.
And oftentimes it's something we messed up at the beginning. We did
Mm-hmm.
something, and then it's just kind of spiraled from there. And if we hadn't have done that in the very beginning, absolutely, we would not have had this issue, and that's 100% our fault.
Yep.
But at the same time, and I'm generalizing here, but 3 years ago, you would have had that one little thing. You would have apologized. You would have done what you could to make it better. Got them a new pizza. Got them a certificate. Got them a refund, and they would have been like, "Oh, well, thank you. That's awesome. Appreciate
Mm-hmm.
it." Nowadays, it's getting a little bit more difficult to do that, and I think for everybody watching this that's in the industry, I think everybody's going to be nodding their heads and being like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough," and a lot of the
So
guests don't know that.
yeah, I mean, totally. And everybody has just been ratcheted up in their anxiety level and all of it. Everybody's had some crappy period of time the last 2.5 years. There's no
Yeah,
doubt about that.